Some would say that these advanced techniques of PR are a response to an ever-growing cynicism from the media. Would you agree with that?
There's no doubt that the political parties believe it's very difficult to get their message across in today's media environment, because of course there is so much competition, there is so much concentration on the media's part, on personalisation, on celebrity news. It's very, very difficult for the political parties to be heard, and when they are heard, they're often heard in a negative sense. So clearly you do need advice, and this is where the spin doctor, this is where the public relations comes in, to try to get your message across.
And when did these spin doctors first come into play?
Well, we've seen the use of the media has been a factor in British elections for a very, very long time. Of course, we here in Britain have had a free press, we've had a campaigning press. The newspapers of Britain have been used for the purpose of political propaganda for a couple of centuries. But of course, we've also seen other developments. So, for example, during the 1980s and 90s, we saw the growing importance of television and the need to try to manipulate the television media. And if we look back, for example, at the elections in the 1980s, we saw Margaret Thatcher and her advisors beginning to understand the power of the picture, and we saw Margaret Thatcher holding up a calf on an election visit. We saw all sorts of images of Margaret Thatcher. We saw Labour using those same techniques with even greater force to promote Tony Blair. And of course now, in this new election of 2010, we're seeing another phenomenon. We're seeing the whole online world being overtaken by the graffiti artists who are managing to get hold of election posters and turn them and twist them to the various political advantages. So you can see how we've got an ever-developing media environment, and it's this media environment that the political parties find it very, very hard in which to compete. And that's why they've got to come up and think of ways of setting the agenda, of influencing the way the news is being reported.